Hey guys, welcome back to Keeping Up with the Nerds Minicast. Issue, I forget at this point.
It's a minicast.
There's the main issues. There's the minicast. I don't know which ones to keep up with, but whatever number this is. What?
Yeah.
And Bryan's issues.
No. What do you mean by?
what you don't know is this is an intervention.
Yes.
For what? Yes.
So.
Oh, he's got the list right there.
The list.
Yes.
Getting back to topic, because we're going to try to actually keep pace and keep time here this time around. Yeah, we're going to do it. Look, I'm actually monitoring with time. We're going to be discussing Cobra Kai and the cast of new characters that are in the show, because in issue 80, we tried discussing pretty much the entirety of Cobra Kai, and we realized that was going to take up another hour or so. So we're going to try to condense the newer characters in about 15 minutes.
Right.
Because they are spectacular. The show in its entirety is fantastic.
Yes.
It's great. But the newer characters are just amazing. I feel like we've all fallen in love with them the same way we did with the original cast in the first 3 Karate Kid movies. So let's go ahead and start off by saying who we've liked so far in the 4 seasons, who we felt like has had the most character development that we've liked so far, and who we feel is maybe the weakest linked in terms of, the characters that we've seen so far.
All right, so I'm gonna start bad first.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Mary Mooser as Samantha LaRusso, because God damn, she's fucking annoying. I know I already cursed.
No,
I know I already cursed, but she's
completely understand
really,
what you mean. Yeah.
But she's really annoying, and the problem is that I actually this is a really great thing towards the writing. She reminds me a lot of her dad in the original Karate Kid movies. Because he's impulsive. He automatically jumps to conclusions. Once his mind is set on someone, it's set.
Yeah.
He doesn't change. It only is that Mr. Miyagi figure that's able to snap him out of it. And Samantha is very much what would have happened if Mr. Miyagi wasn't there and she was neglected.
Yeah.
By her parents, where it's like they have their own things that they're worrying about, and you're very much on the lowest part of their totem pole right now. And it's not that I think she's a good character.
No, she is.
Everything else.
Yeah.
This
season,
I think she was underdeveloped, and I really am looking forward to seeing how exactly she advances, because it kind of feels like at the very end they understood what they did with Samantha, and they're like, okay, we can fix this.
Okay.
And I like the way that the ending did.
Cool. So what about your favorite character so far?
Oh, bro, Miguel. Come on. It's Miguel Diaz. Of course. Like, how can you not enjoy Miguel Diaz? Miguel Diaz is the proper Karate Kid. He is absolutely... He's the one that he's the chosen one. He's the one that is going to bring in both Cobra Kai... Eagle Fang. And and Miyagi-Do karate. I feel like he's going to be like the true master of both. Because not only is he a master of Cobra Kai, but I feel like he has the ability and the know-how to become a master of Miyagi-Do, and the understanding and the growth to become those things.
Cool. Rene?
For me, so bad character-wise, I think I would have to say I'm not bagging on this character because he is my favorite character, but the one that I think got a little less underdeveloped than previous seasons is Miguel. I feel
the opposite.
Yeah, I feel like
just
it was
for this
towards
season?
the end, just for this season, because towards the end they did the whole I don't know how I feel. I'm very conflicted. And it just happened abruptly, I think. That's the thing.
But the thing is that for that, I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
But also, I have to admit, it's not just Miguel's story now.
Yes, yeah.
And we've had already 2 seasons of just Miguel.
Yeah, and he had 2 full arcs.
Yeah, 2 full arcs of Miguel, and we needed to back away from Miguel. He has enough story being told where if we even just put him to a coast, he's still awesome.
That's true, because they did set it up where it's because he is cast as Blue Beetle. He's going to be doing that movie during the time of when they start doing season 5.
They're already starting the filming process.
So it's like, okay, that way he could do that, and we can start working on the story and stuff like that. But I just feel like he started something in the beginning of the season where it was like he was very getting know the LaRussos more, having that connection with Daniel, but then it just kind of ends there and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, well, I was kind of hoping it would be how Samantha was towards the tournament, where he uses both techniques, but it was mostly just Samantha, and he didn't even fight in the final fight, which is, again, I felt kind of like, oh man, I would have at least loved to see that fight.
Gotcha. What about your favorite character?
Favorite is Robbie. Because I loved how he went to Cobra Kai, and even though he did buy into it, towards the end he started seeing that Cobra Kai isn't the way and stuff like that, that there's a flaw in it, and that was with his own student or his Padawan,
before it's what if Anakin would have realized what he was doing was wrong before burning up.
It's so interesting though, because if you notice, Cobra Kai is like a cult.
Yes.
In a way where very much, no matter how many times people say it's evil, it's going to take all your money, it's going to do whatever. It's that moment where it's a self-realization thing of once you see somebody either you've taught or somebody that you admire, and they totally change their personality because of what they've been taught. Cobra Kai. Because it happened with Johnny when he first saw Miguel at the first tournament, when he said like no mercy, right? It happened with Miguel once it turned after everything was said and done with his back and with Robbie and everything else, and then now it's happening with Robbie with his own Padawan, and now it's kind of like they have to have that self-realization of this isn't the way.
And just that ending part of him going back to Johnny was just so emotionally strong. Him realizing, what he's become and what he did to this little kid, and just realizing that and just saying that he's scared, he's afraid, and he's sorry.
So to kind of go alongside with Nick was saying how Cobra Kai is like a cult. For me, I'm going to start with like my favorite character, and that's Tori. I know we're going to I'm going to interrupt Nick before he decides to make another joke or whatever, but because I know he's waiting for it. The reason as to why is because Tori, shut up. Tori has had 3 seasons of development so far?
Slowly. I would say
she's only
2. Oh yeah, she was only in the second season.
She showed up in season 2.
But it's been very slowly with her. So far she's been like the evil girl.
She has, and that's kind of how you get her that's how you get introduced to her the first time around, right? But then it's funny because her character development went from being the evil girl to the evil girl with intentions to the girl that now has intentions that have been misread by the audience.
You understand why she acts the way she does, because in season 3 you find out, she has a mom that doesn't work, or she's very sick.
She can't she
takes care of the little brother and stuff.
Yes,
like that.
the money earner, the one that brings in the cash for the family.
I feel like that's because I really do feel like in Cobra Kai that is the thesis of everyone's going through things, and everybody goes through things differently.
Yeah. So that's
it's always about a point of view of who the villain and who the hero is in everyone's own story.
So that's why I like that whole cult idea of Cobra Kai, how you said it, because Cobra Kai essentially, or at least what we see here and what we originally saw in the first movie, it blankets intentions for certain people, right? Like Tori has had this development where she is digging herself a hole, and it goes deeper and deeper and deeper the more decisions she makes. And now we're seeing at the end of season 4 how she's slowly realizing that maybe the decisions she's making are not the best ones, but she's still kind of to herself. And the season ends with her realizing that the tournament was fixed, right? So you're seeing her dig herself into a hole that maybe, hopefully by season 5 or season 6, she might dig herself out of, right? But we do see how Cobra Kai can manipulate someone with a brand new person that has no connection to Cobra Kai, no connection to the original cast of characters, someone who we misread, and now we're seeing her kind of develop through this cult of Cobra Kai.
But the thing is that I have to say that's Kreese's Cobra Kai.
It's Kreese's,
It's definitely Kreese's Cobra Kai is very much a cult of, you're either with us or you're against us.
Exactly.
Whereas Johnny's Cobra Kai was much more of an empowerment tool. He always wanted people to he always thought of it as, take the first leap.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of Strike First. Take the first leap. And that's what a lot of his students understood, was take that first leap. That's what Strike First, Strike Fast.
Yeah.
Where it was before anybody has the chance to, mess with you or get the wrong idea of yourself, make sure to get in there and kind of make it a first impression of yourself.
Yeah.
And and what No Mercy really means is don't leave anything out. Make sure that everybody knows what it is, and because that's what
stand your ground, stand tall kind of idea.
Very much, and that's what what's her name from the first season was talking about when she had transferred schools after season 2.
Are you talking not Sam, right? Or are you talking
Sam's best friend?
Oh, and it's funny that we got to see her again. Yeah.
That was cool.
That was cool that we got to see her, and she kind of was like that
Cole Brown,
that catalyst to kind of ignite Sam again.
3, she was supposed to return, but I heard that the writers called her in and they're like, "Hey, can you come back?" And she's like, "Well, I need time." I guess she was going through some mental issues and stuff like that.
From what I understood,
mental health issues. She said,
"Yeah, it was." She didn't feel comfortable coming back.
Yeah.
From what I understood, don't take my word for it because I don't know if that's how the interview went. But I heard that it was her writing, the way that her character was written. She didn't feel comfortable coming back for, especially if it wasn't for an important role.
Yeah.
So she just kind of opted out and said I'll come back, but
Yeah, because she said I'll come back, but I just need some time. And the writers were like, "Well, we're just gonna write you off."
Yeah,
and she
which
did
is
get upset
fine.
after that.
Hang on, because I want to talk about my my least favorite character. My least favorite character, not because she's terrible, not because she's written terribly. Sam. Mm-hmm. Sam is probably one of the best written characters in the show. And the reason I say that is because if a character is written well enough that you hate them, that means that the writers are doing something right.
Yeah.
Because, again, yes, 100% right, Nick. Sam is basically the mirror image of what Daniel would be going through if Mr. Miyagi wasn't the one guiding him, because she's so stubborn on the fact that there's certain ways of doing things. And Daniel is the one saying Miyagi is the only way to do so. And then you've got Johnny basically going no, this is the only way to do things. Yeah. And so she's getting two worlds colliding at once. And she's so stubborn on the fact, she gets the idea that working together is the right thing to do. But how do you actually implement that in reality?
Yeah. Exactly. And it's interesting to see the fact that Sam LaRusso is very much the master of both. Mm-hmm. She's the one that's very much putting together the offense of Cobra Kai and the defense of Miyagi-Do and being able to use them all together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea of she knows all of Cobra Kai and she knows all of Miyagi-Do. Which style do I use? And they're like, just mix it up. Just
whatever feels right.
Whatever's feeling right to you, that's how you do it. And
that was a great moment, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great moment. I love it. I mean, it's all together. I really enjoyed season 4, especially the ending of it. It was telegraphed to all hell. I mean,
what?
I don't think anybody thought that Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang were going to win.
Oh, no.
By the middle of the season,
it felt
there's
like
no
Cobra
way.
Kai was going to win.
Yeah, there's no way. But I do like the idea that Miyagi-Do still has a champion in Hawk. Because Hawk is actually a really good character. I love Hawk.
Hawk's development has been probably the best development of any character throughout the entire series.
I think he has the stronger development.
Yeah, because he's that character that he's the more relatable Daniel LaRusso in Karate Kid, because you could look at Daniel LaRusso and be like, yeah, I could relate to certain aspects here and there and stuff like that, but Hawk is that guy that we kind of the misfit, right? The guy that there's something wrong with him visually, and so people always mistreat him, and the confidence is how he kind of portrays himself on the outside rather than the inside, contemplating certain relationships and how he can fit in certain societies and stuff like that. And at the end of season 4, we get that with his hairstyle, where his mohawk is gone and he's like, well, I'm gone now.
I don't know who to be.
Exactly. And then he has that realization when his friend comes back, I forget his name, who weirdly enough grew on me in this season.
Oh, you mean Dimitri?
Dimitri, he grew on me.
He definitely became a much better character when he started learning Miyagi-Do.
He was but the thing is that that's also really great character development.
Yeah.
He's a super annoying character in season 1.
Seasons 1 through 2, yeah.
1 through 2, and even in 3, where he's barely learning Miyagi-Do.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you get to 4, this guy makes it to the semifinals of the All Valley. And he's able to defend himself.
He fights Robbie. Yeah.
And he's fighting against Robbie and
holding his ground.
And he's holding his own. Even Daniel's like, you could have won. Honestly, you could have won that fight. It was kind of a toss-up. But also, I think that it's great that he ends up becoming the All Valley champion, because I feel that's what he needed.
Yes.
I feel if any of the characters needed to become the All Valley or win the All Valley, he was the most deserving.
Hawk?
Yes.
Because Hawk was trying to bounce back and forth, trying to figure out his identity, and he finally found one He found one not through himself, but through the help of the people that he left behind.
Yes.
Not only, and he found it through his redemption because he understood what I was a jerk. What I did in seasons 1 to 3.
Yeah.
I was a dick.
Yeah.
I deserve
100%.
I wholeheartedly deserve everything that has come to me. And I don't deserve happiness. I don't deserve friends. I don't deserve anything. And then it's those same friends, Dimitri and also Moon.
Yeah.
Dimitri and Moon, to bring him back up along with, Miyagi-Do, and say, you deserve happiness.
Yeah.
Because the harder you fall, that means the higher you can rise up.
Exactly.
And I really do. I love the fight between him and Robbie. I think that is one of the.
That was the best fight in any character.
That was a fight I didn't know I wanted to see so bad.
Yeah, I was sweating the entire time. To wrap it up in the next 5 minutes, because we're going to be running over our time. So, yeah.
When you said 15 minutes, I was like,
it's not going to happen. So another 5 minutes, but to discuss this very important point, because some other channels and people have made this connection, but I want to discuss it amongst you two real quick, is the comparison between what Cobra Kai has been doing with its characters in the last 4 seasons and what Star Wars has been trying to do with its last 3 movies, right? So the comparison between the new trilogy to Cobra Kai is that the new trilogy basically just kind of based everything, all its development, off of nostalgia, right? That it was the same cast and the same crew and the same storyline that you're all familiar with, and that's why the new trilogy didn't work as well as the previous movies, because it didn't try anything dangerous. What we see here in Cobra Kai is the writers are taking risks. Nick predicted the fact that Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang were never going to work. The easiest way to write that is to make them work, right? But then where do you go from there? How do you develop so that you can continue on the story, comfortably and with actual loss or risk into seasons 5 and 6?
How do I have conflict?
How do you have conflict in future, in future seasons? Not only that, but how do you develop your newer cast of characters so that they can be relatable to the, the first 3 movies that came out? Be comfortable with the fan base that grew up with that, but how do you make them different? So my question to you guys is, what is Cobra Kai doing right with its characters that makes it work, whereas it didn't work in with the characters in Star Wars?
Go ahead.
No, go.
I think for me, when it came to the new Star Wars trilogy, they mainly focus on those nostalgic moments, and that was its niche. That was look, we have the Millennium Falcon and stuff like that. With Cobra Kai, it does that, but it doesn't make it the main thing. The whole fight, the rematch between Johnny and Daniel, that was really cool, but it wasn't the main focus of the season. That's the thing.
So to kind of jump on that point that you were saying, it's the difference between a remaster and a remake.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Star Wars remade the new trilogy by using the old formula, whereas Cobra Kai is remastering the storyline and making it that much better. Whereas your characters, we're familiar with them because we can make one-to-one comparisons there. You have these new characters taking massive risks and then giving us storylines that we don't predict, that we, that some of us can see, but that's because we're interested in wanting to see that risk and then rewarding us with that.
Not only that,
visually.
but also I feel that what happened is that inside of these, for one, you have to also take into fact of they were shorter.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai has had more time to develop characters than all 3 trilogies put together in 4 seasons. Not only that, but also they properly used those legacy characters and brought them in at right times, where not only did it inform the story, but it made sense for for those characters to come back in to affect change inside of the story and affect change in characters. So that way we can then push the story forward. So it didn't just go, oh, it's a cameo, that's cool. Lando at the very end. Oh, this is a cameo. That's awesome. Lando Calrissian finally is back.
Or Harrison Ford and Chewie coming through the Millennium Falcon for the first time. It's Chewie, we're home.
Yeah, those are cool cameos. That's pushing but Han and Chewie coming through, those are pushing the plot forward because we have to go to Moscanado, we have to do all these other things.
Yeah.
But the thing is that when you have characters that are like coming back, like Terry Silver. Like you have Terry Silver coming in, and not only he was a villain inside of the third movie, but not only that, but now he's coming in as not necessarily as a big bad, but he's coming in as, we're gonna do this right this time. I have an understanding of how we're gonna do Cobra Kai, and then him having a mild mental breakdown.
Yeah.
It's funny how you mentioned that because
that was a severe.
That was a severe mental. No, but you know what's great about that, and it kind of like made me realize this right now, is that every returning character has not been the same way that we left them. So like Kreese, for example, was this like war-torn, very like stern individual, and then when we meet him again in season 2, he's homeless and looking for a job and broken. And Johnny's the same way, rich family, rich kid, who thinks he has the world in the palm of his hands, and he's broke and is this basically. How the way we see Miyagi is just he's like the handyman for an apartment complex, right?
Even with Daniel, he's a big hotshot guy now. He's no longer the
he's no longer the kid from Philly.
Yeah. He's basically like well known within the valley or within the area of the town that he's in.
Yeah, because he used to be the outsider.
Yeah.
Now he is.
You reverse the roles.
Now we've reversed those roles, and it's really interesting to kind of see how exactly Johnny's life kind of took a dumpster fire after his loss, where it was like, who am I after not being the All Valley, after not getting the girl, after losing to LaRusso, and getting my fame kind of taken away from me. Who am I?
Yeah.
And I feel like that goes into, once again, characters going into a logical kind of conclusion.
Yeah.
A lot of the other characters that you saw inside those legacy characters in Star Wars, they weren't where people thought they were going to be in their lives. You didn't think Han Solo and Princess Leia were going to get a divorce and they were going to run off away from each other.
Yeah.
They didn't explain their stories.
Yeah, and they didn't.
That's the problem.
And they didn't properly explain why that happened. What was it? We didn't think that Luke was going to be a hermit that just hated the Force and just kind of was a jerk.
Yeah, basically.
And like had no respect for like anything. Even his father's lightsaber, at the end of Return of the Jedi, if he would have had his father's lightsaber, he would have cherished that thing like it was like the holy grail to him, because he appreciated that his father had returned to become a Jedi and saved his life. The truest thing I can say about it is that I think it's because it was done with respect and it wasn't a money grab. And audiences know authenticity, and when people are just trying to go into your wallet and take your money. And I feel like at a certain point, that may not have been what The Force Awakens was originally, but at a certain point within that sequel trilogy, that's what it turned into. And you could feel it, of just like we're putting the movie on the screen to put butts in seats. Do you see the Empire Strike? Do you see the Death Star?
It's a grand spectacle, essentially.
It's grand spectacles. It's a lot more of like, do you remember this? Do you remember this? Do you remember this? Cool.
And the way they were just like pushing characters.
Yeah.
And also in merchandising as well.
But there was no substance to it.
Yeah.
Whereas this has a bunch of substance. Has a lot of character development. Has characters that you can like, love, and you can get behind. And villains too.
Yeah. To wrap it up, this is a show, and we've said it time and time again, if you guys are interested in listening to our full thoughts of Cobra Kai Season 4, you guys can check out issue 80 of our podcast. I'll put a link in the description below. But again, to wrap up this point, Cobra Kai is a show made by fans for the fans, and that's why it finds success. And honestly, I don't think it's had a failed season so far. The funniest thing I've seen is when, that it was memed with Game of Thrones, but it's that drawing of the horse, and it gets progressively worse the whole time.
Yeah.
It's like they did that with Spider-Man as well, but like I can picture it being like the horse, and then at the end of it, it's just like an actual watercolor majestic painting at the end, Yeah. And here's hoping that seasons 5 and 6 are going to be as great as they are. There's only honestly, we can't wait. We're massive fans.
Oh, definitely.
So we're going to go ahead and wrap up the minicast right here. You guys can find all our podcast issues on wherever you find your audio or wherever you guys listen to podcasts. Oh my God, let me start that over. That was terrible.
Yes, please.
If you guys are interested in looking up our podcast, you guys can listen to them on any audio podcast you guys listen to podcasts to, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Podbean. Find us here on YouTube where you guys are watching this minicast right now. All our podcasts visually will be available on here. Subscribe if you are not subscribed and ring that notification button. Find us on our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com. We're going to be updating all of their content over there, and articles will be posted up with an announcement coming soon. So it might be up on issue 81, hopefully. So as soon as you guys see that, you guys will understand what's going on with the website. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well for all the up-to-date information and where you guys can find our podcasts or skits, anything that you're looking forward to. And I think with that, we're going to wrap it up, right?
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching this Keeping Up with the Nerds minicast issue, whatever number, I forget it is.
Just throw that number
Just throw
right
the
there.
number right here.
Yeah.
Literally right here. My name is Bryan.
Renee.
And Nick.
And we'll see you all in the next one.